你好，佛山现场的召唤师们，让我感受一下你们的热情好吗？欢迎来到2019英雄联盟职业联赛春季赛总决赛，我是你们的老朋友不灭之握人动。接下来，让我们一起揭开今天总决赛的神秘面纱。戎马七载，终赢盛世。以2018年春决作为起点，过去的365天承载了 LPL 的辉煌。一路的成长与胜利凝结成感动的瞬间，为我们留下了一幅幅经典的画面。春风2度，再书新篇，象征盛世的火炬将继续被传递。无论何时何地，我们都会铭记昨日的荣耀，铭记 LPL 加冕为王的时代。但是，放眼四海，诸强并起，英雄只争朝夕，战场不进则退。LPL 的皇冠必将易主，联赛的新王将再次加冕。大战将至，让我们破镜成王。究竟让我们谁可以在这里登顶？让我们屏息聆听这决战的召唤。
TheShy领出了一个护盾以后，把伤害给打掉，但是他还没有死。掌声欢迎 JDG。
声有请爱信。 欢迎京东上路 ，Zhao。欢迎IG上路 ，TheShy。 欢迎京东打野 Ryze， 欢迎 IG 打野耶，欢迎京东中路。 Yagao， 欢迎 IG 中路 UK， 欢迎京东 AD Carry。 欢迎 IG AD Carry JackeyLove， 欢迎京东辅助LvMao。 欢迎 IG 辅助Baolan，拿出你们的呐喊声，让我们再次欢迎总决赛队伍京东 IG。 2019英雄联盟职业联赛春季赛总决赛正式开战。
as we head towards our grand final. The crowd is rearing to go and packed out already. This is the time for JD or IG to prove themselves worthy in the eyes of the world and in the eyes of China. The crowd is just ready to go here as we welcome you to the English desk for the LPL 2019 Grand Final, and what an event it is going to be. Let me welcome Tabe at the end of the desk and Brento Raz Muhammad to join me as well. And guys, after that opening ceremony, how can you not feel the energy?
There is always the energy that follows the finals. If it's spring finals, summer finals, this is my favorite beginning and like opening desk so far.
Tabe, how are you feeling coming into what the crowd just set up?
I was so excited because at first I heard the sound of the Lee Sin, you know, it's so alike, and the Kung Fu is really for Chinese style and really is the Chinese culture.
It was a beautiful opening ceremony, but we have to look at how we got here, of course, because the journey to get in this grand final of JDG versus IG was not as straightforward as it seems, maybe for IG, but not JDG. So.
Exactly. For JDG, that was a long and arduous road. During the regular season, they struggled the most. Remember in their summer split, that was like last year. It was a good run for them. They almost made it to the finals, but to find themselves here, going up against Team WE, RNG, FPX, in a lot of those instances, they were challenged at their weaknesses, in their demons in the bottom lane, but Imp and LvMao showed up, took down Mystic in the solo kills in the bottom lane. That was game one in that series, and they only got better as they went on.
And Tabe, I know that JDG for you were quite inspiring through the regular split and promos as well.
We know that Coach Hom really inspired the whole team. Every time when they feel disadvantaged in every BO5 series, he teaches his students to be better and better. And really, he showed us different tactics. Especially, I really liked his triangular tactic. Not only mid, jungle, bot, or top, we can see always he teaches the players to play all around the map.
That's the thing, they always come out with, remember with the team and how they started out this split. This split, they were very focused on their top lane, and they really couldn't afford that flexibility. But as they went on along in the split, they were able to play through mid lane and primarily the bottom lane. So now Coach Ohm, finally coming into the finals, can have like pick of the litter.
Yeah.
Imp and LvMao are playing on ball, so you can play through the bottom lane if you want, or you can just go back to your style up top to its zoom.
I mean, they've been through the bloodiest playoff run I think we've seen in a very long time in the LPL. 14 out of 15 games played in playoffs alone, and we're not even into the grand final yet.
This is the first time in LPL history an 8-seeded team have found themselves in the finals. That is historic already. But you can hear the players when they come into this one through the multiple interviews. Of course, they're not going to be satisfied with that. This is the same team that had an arduous run during the summer split and couldn't make it to that world spot, right? They got bopped out by EDG. So a lot of them still have those memories intact, knowing that, you know, they lost Clid. He went off to SKT. They lost Loken, who went off to TOP. And they thought going into this split, this is disastrous, right? You're looking at this split like, oh no, are we going to have to just rebuild? Are we taking a step back in the organization?
We're not going to get into playoffs at all.
Exactly, but that's not the case, especially when they start out this whole run going up against Team WE on such an emphatic fashion.
I know, Tabe, that JDG running forward at an 8 seed, we did have a lot of confidence. How did you feel going into the split, thinking that, all right, this team doesn't have Clid, doesn't have Loken anymore?
Yeah, without Clid and Loken, Coach Hom is really good at finding good substitutes. We have Flawless. He has a same Lee Sin level as Clid, and now we have Imp, and also before we have B-Boy. That means he always knows that the disadvantage of their team, and he struggles, and he knew that how to give them energy to enlarge the whole team's power.
And I don't want to take a lot of the love away from Invictus Gaming either, because even though a lot of the international viewers out there will know them as world champions, they haven't won the big one in the LPL. Neither of these teams has. This is going to be like legitimately, you are guaranteed a new LPL champion here. The last time we have seen a non-RNG, EDG, and Team WE finals was 2015 of Summer Split. That was Xiaogu Reapers going up against LGD when they were at their peak. And remember, that was LGD with Imp. So Imp, not only is he a world champion, an LPL champion, on top of that from his 2015 split, he's back on this stage to take a second one.
It's funny enough because not a domestic champion seems to be the eyes of every player out there today, IG and JDG alike. For both of these teams, we're going to get a closer look in here because for JDG and IG, they have very unique playstyles, very unique identities, and I know that when you put them side by side, a team like Invictus Gaming usually stands out, but they've been playing with a little bit more than Fire, Tabe, playing with a lot of the flexes and the potential here in the roster.
Yeah, IG and JDG is totally two different style. And just now I have in my mind, it's not only triangle, it's also a circle. Why? Because it remind me a game when they are facing FPX. The jungle is so behind, but suddenly he has 50 more CS and Tian. That means he knows when to gank and when to farm himself too.
A lot of the, as you mentioned, I think Flawless has been playing exceptionally well during the playoff run. And you can see it through how the team style comes out. He's able to make it to these massive team fights. Team kill participation has been a major focus for JDG. They're, of course, first amongst all teams performing in the playoff run. Team fight win rate, that just means that they're a team that loves to team fight no matter what. If you have LvMao on your roster, he's going to be the one that's engaging. If you're looking at Invictus Gaming and people are trying to figure out what their style, then you haven't watched Worlds, right? Like, this team has not changed since then. In fact, they've gotten more bloody. There are teams that are just literally playing through their solo lanes. They're not even essentially getting Ning to have early ganks, because if we're talking about their average first blood ratio, it's or at least the minute in which they're getting it, 5 minutes into the game. So like, it's taking some time, and it's the solo lanes that are being able to pick that one up. So it's more often TheShy who's getting his solo kills, or Rookie is able to kind of pull in some pressure there too.
So if IG haven't changed, I mean, it could be scary for JDG. I know there are big changes there in the roster, but this is the 2018 semi-final rematch in a way as well. IG played spoilers to JDG's regular playoff run.
And it was surprised then too, because this was when Invictus Gaming was making their World Championship run. We expected Invictus Gaming to make it to the finals alongside RNG, and they did, but with the asterisk that it went to Game 5. And it was the most hectic, hellacious Game 5 you could imagine, where JDG constantly rammed into them. The Scion pick from Zune went straight in on top of Clid. A lot of people, international viewers, will now know who Clid is. He's going to be going to MSI alongside SKT, and they will know that whenever there's an option to get that Lee Sin kick, he will go for it.
So Tabe, on this kind of reminiscent fact of JDG and ING, do you see these new players like Flawless and of course Imp filling in that void enough to bring us to an epic grand final?
Yes, because I still have to give credit to Coach Hom. Why?
That's fair.
Yeah, the substitute system really give them pressure. Levi and B-Void. Really, because I were a player too. I was a player too. When I saw there is a substitute is practicing even harder than me and younger than me, of course, then I will be like so intense. And I really want to prove to my coach that I won't tell him I will do it.
Yeah, and that was always the thing. You could see the pressure going onto Flawless as well when he, of course, had that poor performance in his last game. But when they ended up taking that win anyways, he came in clutch at the end game when it went up against FPX in Game 5. You could see the raw emotion when the tears were flowing through his eyes. So, like, a lot of these players feel that pressure. That was the same constants that we're seeing from teams like RNG, like when they have those substitute systems. That's what I enjoy from JDG, because remember, in preseason, when they were changing up slots, they didn't have Clid. They wanted someone to fill that exact void, though. So bringing in Levi and Flawless brought in that same vibe. He's still a Lee Sin player. He's still incredibly active. That is his best champion. So it's nice to see Flawless, who was underperforming during the regular season, who was trying to synergize well with Yagao, finally coming into it. And I think that this is going to be a really good matchup going up against Ning.
It's going to take a lot of elements to work for JDG, because Tabe, I know you're quite interested in drafts and everything, but the flex potential for Invictus Gaming seems to be one of the strongest elements here at play.
Yeah, first of all, we really have to think of the flexes. There are 5 huge champions that are good for flexes. Jace, Akali, Silas, Cassiopeia, and Ryze. And even Cassiopeia is really new. It's like the last game. So it's really crazy. And of course, now it's 9.6. That means Morgana, that played by Doin B before, may be one of the flexes too.
Yeah, that's the thing about Invictus Gaming, is that even though they choose red side far more often, because people talk about red side rookie, if you want to have those stars, you want to be able to pick for them like the best matchup possible, they perform better on blue side. They have higher win rate on blue side. Whenever they can go through all of these flex, and if you're Zoom in this instance, who's going to be like, all right, I want the best matchup for myself, but where is that Jace going? So so I am surprised that IG still continue to go towards red side when they just, come on, man.
Yeah, it's such an incredible win on blue side. I for Invictus Gaming, for one, go, all right, these flexes are so dangerous. And the fact that IG are willing to play sometimes a losing matchup. Of course, I'm talking about TheShy, who in the top lane has often picked up something like a Vladimir. This is one of the flexes that we don't often see, and you go, wow, okay, he's actually doing this.
He picks himself into losing matchups so much. Like, when he picks himself Vlad into the Jace pick, I'm like, what are you doing? Or Vlad into the Ryze pick, I was like, please.
Stop it.
He does this, and he comes out ahead of that. Like, he finds himself in the Jace trade. I remember vividly when he went up against the Jace during the playoffs, and he just out-traded him, completely pushed the Jace out of lane, had a higher CS advantage, and I'm like, okay, that was unassisted. And then when he went up against, like, regular season, goes up against TheShy, and he just solo killed the Ryze off of them because he just is able to take these situations, mechanically outplay, come into team fights off these team fight champions like Vladimir, and really cover up for historically what's been the weakness for Invictus Gaming. So a lot of people, when they hear IG, they don't think team fighting. I think they have gotten so much better at that across the board. And they're like, they may not have communication with TheShy sometimes.
And sometimes that doesn't matter.
But his decision making is always on point, so they follow it up on him.
And with the top laners there as well, maybe TheShy can't get away with things that he's gotten against TheShy or other top laners in the league. Because when we look at the top lane specifically here, we're saying the two best top laners in the LPL, and Zoom is trying to trump over that fact and make himself known, Tave.
Yeah, really, I think everyone will think that TheShy is like the #1 among the whole world, but I can bet that Zoom is trying to be the second one.
Yes.
Why? Because I really think that, for example, I really think TheShy is like the Darth Vader, and while the other one is Luke Skywalker, because he really wants to prove himself he can beat TheShy in this series.
I honestly, when you're looking through the stats, and I know we'll get to that point, like, bless you, like, it's insane to be able to look towards both these top laners and say that, okay, wait, damage share, like, literally in terms of damage share amongst their team, they are highest amongst all playoff teams. So just take a look at this. Damage per minute, second. And I'm just saying, not just second amongst top laners, second amongst all players in the playoffs. And then so they hit the gold percentage as well, where they do consistently play through Zoom. And so you get to see the flanking GP or the flanking Kale, who just has the 6 items ready.
And what I love about this at the most is you'll notice with Zoom, he has a very unique champion pool in the top lane of the LPL, but when you transition over to TheShy, it looks very different.
Yeah, because sometimes when you pick Ryze, we know that Yorick is a counter pick.
Yep.
But it really depends on the draft. Like, for example, just now I mentioned the 5 flags, and also you just now said Vladimir is also a very rare flags chosen by TheShy.
Yep.
So I think if there is these flags available, then I think coach will pick them.
And ultimately what you see here, what should be your primary focus when you see that, is the 18 solo kills that he has. He is just so dominant when he has the proper matchup, which is why I should never see him on Sylas. The unnerfed Sylas, we're on 9.6, so that's a champion that if you are going up against Invictus Gaming, you do not want him to have that pick, because he is going to dive you along with Ning. Highest jungle proximity there for like Ning and TheShy, so like they're unapologetic in the way that they do it. And so I think Zoom, thankfully, JDG is a team that will challenge that in 2v2s. In fact, during the regular season when they had that matchup, they challenged it heavily. Yep. They ended up winning because, Duke came in Game 3 and wasn't able to match up in the 2v2s. But we haven't seen Duke since week 6. Unreal, really. Every single time Invictus Gaming has come out in these splits in 2018 or even 2017, we've been seeing Duke come in later on in the regular season, so at least he's practiced for these best of 5s.
Is that because of the flex potential of IG and how they're playing around it?
Yeah, I think so, and I know I want to hear Tabe's thoughts on this one, because TheShy is going to play these champions to its fullest, and has the largest champion pool. If you think Jace, you're going to think Rookie and TheShy as the best Jace players in the world, so it makes sense to be fielding him. Even though Duke has that world championship, you're just right next to TheShy.
Yeah, I was thinking like the last 2 flags pick that Duke is good at playing is Jace and Irelia. Well, now Irelia is okay, but it's just a decent pick, not the best pick. And another thing is Duke is famous for his tank plays, his Ornn, his Sion, right? But remember the Sion solo killed SMLZ? And that's why he's not playing now. It's not saying he's not good, but TheShy is too shiny. He can deal damage even he is playing Sion.
I love that he's too shiny. TheShy has been so good throughout the spring split, but then again in playoffs, so has Zoom. That's our top lane cemented. We know how exciting this matchup is going to be, but we transition down below because it's an exciting, and that's right, it's going to be a support matchup between Baolan and LvMao, because they're like not two peas in a pod, whatever the opposite is, I'm not even sure. They're very unique supports, Tabo.
Yeah, just now I mentioned the top is like Star Wars, right? But now I really think that Baolan and JackeyLove is like the LPL #1 defensive bot lane.
Okay.
Why? Because Baolan always sacrificed himself in the BP section. He always picked Braum early, Alistar, and Galio.
Yes.
These cannot protect really well during laning phase, but team fights he can really ensure that JackeyLove have a very good damage.
What about LvMao though? Because I know you like calling him an aggressive support. Raz, what are your thoughts on this as well?
Yeah, with LvMao, he's going to go in, right? And we haven't even touched on the fact that Sona Tark is a possibility, and he's going to be able to deal with it with the Bard options, the possible Leona, so he is a nice style, but I want to get right to it. I want to talk those predictions.
Oh, okay, let's start it up. Predictions have been big in the past, and in this series, IG and JDG. Look, I'm going to start things off because this is, you know, the player has to get it out of the way.
You gotta go for it.
I'm sick of the chaos, but in the same sense, I love it. And I'm sick of being wrong, Raz. JDG have come from 8th seed. They've come from the bottom, Tabo.
Yeah.
This is where they do not stop. They're going to take it out of Invictus Gaming. I'm dropping seed. I'm going straight to JDG. Tabe, I'm going to come in because you've probably got some better ideas.
Every time I predict JDG will be losing, he always slapped me hard on the face. Yeah, but really, although I give so many respect to Coach Home, but I want to say Coach Kim is new to LPL, but he has huge players. So after so many trash walk by me, I still give credit to IG. I still support IG. I still think they can win it.
And you better believe I think the same way. Invictus Gaming for me, just put them all out there. IG are the world champions. They've always come in with the highest impact, best mechanics.
Yeah.
And one thing that I was always worried about was whether or not they're going to be disciplined on the field. When they went up against TOP, I saw discipline. I saw a team that when they had a lead, they could slow the game down, and that was what I was concerned about. Thankfully, they got that all nailed down.
Either way, we have, and by the way, Niberia on the JDG train as well. It doesn't matter. We're expecting the finals to go the distance, to give that hype its true nature. And for the players, of course, they had something to say about this as well, as we look at their cheeky little ramblings. lucky man himself, of course. That was both amazing and incredible to see the savagery of both teams. I've never seen compliments and bit of criticism in the same thing, Raz.
Yeah, how about we leave Piglet alone, all right? How about we just forget that ever happened? I just feel bad for both Piglet and Ryu because those moments will always come through.
I love bringing up the cap stream as well, and it has been a dream for JDG. But, of course, we have to go into draft again, Tabe. I want to take it over to you once more to look at how we can see the potential of draft for the bottom lane playing out.
Yeah, just now I mentioned about the bot lane of IG is really defensive, and in contrast, I really think that JDG bot lane is really aggressive. Why? It's not because of Imp, it's because of LvMao. Coach Hom always will give him an opportunity to counterpick supports. With banning the Morgana, any supports that is aggressive, for example, Leona, Fiddlesticks, Alistar, and Galio will be the really strong engage.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think something when we look towards JDG, funny enough, Flawless path towards top side and bottom side fairly equally.
Yep.
Or at least he utilizes LvMao quite a bit, tag teams with him. That's how they place down their vision control around enemy blue side jungle if they're on blue themselves. So like, that's interesting to be able to see, especially since LvMao is such a vocal shot caller. He's going to be calling in Flawless as much as possible. And just being able to have that engage point. If you look towards top lane, and if he ends up getting GP, if Zoom gets GP, if mid lane is not easily gankable if he goes towards like the Vladimirs and whatever, then I expect Flawless to be paying more heat to the bottom side of the map, and it's going to have to be on Baolan and JackeyLove to play it defensively, because while you're right, I agree with you, Baolan is a defensive support, but I don't know if JackeyLove got any bit of that.
No.
In fact, he thinks of that as extra bit of protection so he can get a little bit of a skirmish across. So like, that's my worry with IG, is that when they are not so disciplined, when Ning is pathing topside, there are still 2v2 skirmishes coming through without any vision of where the enemy jungle is.
Yeah, just now Historic passed me by about the draft. I really expect that today, maybe IG will ban out Imp for the Xayah or ban out Flawless his Jarvan.
Okay, because of course in game number one, it's always going to be stock standard of who are we going to target, and the meta will change within the series itself. Are there any other crucial bans that need to go from IG side to shove out JDG?
Maybe I think Varus, Xayah, and also Rek'Sai and Lee Sin. Because Flawless plays a really good Rek'Sai, Lee Sin, and when he plays Elite and enemy has Jarvan, he started to cry.
There we go. Oh my goodness, man. I love you. And I'm going to tell you one thing. Like, J4 has been the ban that we've been seeing so consistently from Invictus Gaming. When they went up against TOP, they banned it quite consistently versus XX. And we saw a high enough win rate from Flawless where teams have just, when they go up against JDG, a lot of times they question, like, what does Zoom even play? Like, he's been playing so many like, he has such a large champion pool that it's hard to nail Zoom down. It's hard to nail really anybody on JDG's side except for, like, Imp in particular. Out of 47 games that he's played, we've seen him play 26, like, Xayah and Vayne games. So teams have just gone up against them and said, well, you're not going to have either, and he has gone towards Varus. So I'm expecting for Invictus Gaming to really start targeting out the Varus as well, because a lot of the times if you're on blue side, you can end up saying, okay, well, we'll still target ban your AD carry. We'll just first pick the Varus because we don't think you have a good enough option.
Does that do anything to IG, though? Because JackeyLove in the past has played a lot of Vayne, a lot of the Xayah as well, although maybe a wider champion pool target.
Because always Baolan will first pick his support. That means he can counterpick his AD. I know there's not a lot of counterpick, but why I want to state out this is because today the first game IG is blue side, and we can bring up some really crazy flex picks like Vladimir, Jace, Ryze, Akali. They have tried this before. When you lock down the 5th position, Akali, can purple side coach know Akali is going where? Yeah. We only know he's not going jungle, right?
Yeah.
So utilizing the flex pick and also using the blue side is easier to ban. With focusing on the ADC will be a good choice.
And just so people out there know, the side selection was chosen based off coin flip. JDG continue to have luck on their side. They won that coin flip, and they chose red side for this evening. So for the first set, they seem like they want to be able to pick up red side, so Zoom gets that priority. Funny enough, even if we're just going a little bit more focused on draft, I'm more interested in who they end up going in the second phase for both Flawless and LvMao in particular. I think LvMao could just hold his picks, because I really enjoy his aggressive supports like the Leona, and I'm even going to bring out Blitzcrank. Yeah. Because I think it's a damn shame that we haven't seen a Sona Taric right now in the LPL. It just hasn't happened. And not even the Talia, pantheon that we've been seeing in the LCK.
Yep.
And so I still say that Invictus Gaming are the type of team that are willing to go out. There's a few teams out there in the LPL. BLG comes to mind, and I think that Invictus Gaming hits that tone where they are willing to go towards the Sonatark because they're going to be on weak side, and as long as they get out of the laning phase, that lane has succeeded.
And let's not forget on JDG on the red side, even though we talk about the counterpick potential and maybe shutting down the flex that IG can offer, before LvMao picked Bard so early in the draft, and you're like, is this a counterpick? What is this doing? It was confidence there from the support.
Yeah, he picked it when he was going up against the Braum and the Kog'Maw. That's just the casual LPL. If you look in the past, that's been what you recognize start out the skirmishes.
It looks like we're about to jump into pick and bans, though, gentlemen. JDG, IG, the grand final is finally here as we say thank you to Tabe, who will join us just before game 2. The crowd erupts, and Raz, I think we're getting right into it.
Already seeing Bard and J4 off the clock. Invictus Game is starting this series off. Okay, let's go.
They said they were going to play around the flex as we welcome Clement Chu to the desk.
Yeah, it's been a long while seeing you guys show your knowledge up here, but we're finally getting to ban pick, and we're seeing the safe picks come out for JD Gaming. Braum 5-0 so far in the playoffs, and Lissandra is the go-to pick for Yagao.
Oh wow, we're just going to see Xayah Rakan right off the bat.
Ooh. The crowd hears it, and this is the fun thing about this. Invictus Gaming, remember, Ryze is going to be a flex. I expect it to go towards TheShy, but at this point in time, he just wants to know what lane he's going up against. And then Xayah Rakan, gloves off. I love the fact that Ning is now going in the second phase, still going towards, like, he still has his Lee Sin that he can pick up whenever is necessary. And now you can look towards the bottom side as the primary point of engage.
You see the Xayah, which we're talking about on the desk, the standard here for him.
Yeah, half of his champion picks so far have been on that Xayah. So JD Gaming, they're putting all of their eggs into the Zoom basket, saving that counter pick, going for the red side. And this is pretty much what we expected outside of the draft. I will say, IG had a really clever play there, banning away the Bard and forcing JD Gaming to take the Braum early.
This was a bait that I had expected for Invictus Gaming to start out with. Go out with the Ryze, because you know that works well against what Yagao's best champion is, being Zoe. And if you look towards the top lane, then you know that Zoom, if he goes towards anything really, like the Ryze has a really good laning phase option. So it's up to JDG on red side to find a good solo lane for themselves.
Because they've already lost the Jace, which we could rely on the flex. They've taken away Akali as well. It looks like our solo lanes are starting to be prioritized here in game 1.
This is a super interesting question. All the regions have been asking, what is the counter pick you have against Ryze? So far, there doesn't seem to be an answer, but JD Gaming, they're willing to dig deep for those champion picks. Remember the last time they went for the Quinn pick just to shut TheShy down.
That's right. Now we've just lost the Lee Sin, though. We talked about it being contested.
I would say one thing that I like is the Olaf that's still up and available. JDG should lock that down for themselves, because Olaf Braum is still a great combination that you have for yourself. And on top of that, the best way to play against the Ryze is actually stylistically look to pressure out and look to proper gank, even looking to dive it. So I like the fact that JDG, they're hovering over the Nocturne.
Do you run this instead of the Olaf for us?
Now, Flawless has gone towards Nocturne during the playoffs run, and he's primarily looked towards bullying out bottom lane. So we'll have to see if JDG can play this one out slowly to start so he can get to his level 6.
Yeah, so JD Gaming, they're setting up more for the 5v5 big skirmish type of team fights where they can come in from any angle. There's 2 members right now with semi-globals in the Xayah and the Nocturne that can fly towards the backline, maybe not prioritizing laning phase that heavily.
The backbone of the composition is unsurprisingly going to be the Nocturne Lissandra. Lissandra should be able to get out of lane against most opponents when she gets to her points. I just wonder that Zoe should be the lock-in here for Invictus Gaming. There we go.
This has been Yagao's best champion.
Yes, but it's great for Rookie as well. We saw him earlier on in the split, and it's a wonderful answer versus the Lissandra. Once she gets to like level 4, anyway, she can be able to clear out backline minions, has great skirmishing power versus Lissandra that's largely immobile, so you can pretty much nail down the Sleepy Trouble bubble underneath her tower. So I like this to lock down Lissandra in lane.
And so far, we've seen IG run with the double mages throughout the playoffs, relying on the slow laning power of Zoom in the top side to carry
Lock
them
it in.
Oh boy.
God. Okay, so we saw this in 2018. This was Zoom's champion. We returned to 2019 where he has not played this at all.
There's a reason for that. We're not 9.7. This is 9.6. This is pre-buff Ornn. So in the laning phase, he's going to get nailed down and bullied. I want to see what Zoom can do here early on so he's relevant for the team fights. Because theoretically, you look at JDG, you know what their style is? Statistically, team fight, kill participation rate, like they get together, if they are able to have that brawl like 15, 20 minutes onwards, then this composition fits that to a T. But I do not expect them to get out of that with a net advantage. IG has great solo lanes that they should be coming out with goal leads.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the entire skirmishing phase for IG looks just so good. They have strong lanes across the board this time around, and it's really coming to that level 6 point where Flawless can really start to find kills on the map. Before that, it should be completely Invictus's map.
This is a risk. Remember what we said coming into this set. I didn't expect JDG to be coming into this series pushing away from their top lane. Essentially saying that we're not going to be playing towards you, we're playing away from you. Because during the playoff run, in terms of CS difference at 10, TheShy leads the pack at 16 CS, averaging 16.5 CS. Now that was going up against TOP, but that's been a constant during the regular season as well. And the Zoom has followed up with his 10 plus CS, so he's been coming in with strong laning phase, especially at the back end of the regular season. So for them to be coming into this saying that you're going to be taking a disadvantage here, it's a risky point.
But JD Gaming, they have a comp that can catch you out of places. If you make mistakes on the map, they can capitalize so easy. You have Ornn, you have Xayah, you have Nocturne flying in from all different directions. I like their answer to Invictus Gaming. They're saying that, you know what, we probably can't kill you in the laning phase, but we'll take over those mid-game team fights.
And it's going to be interesting to see. They're going to be hovering over mid lane. That's going to be a constant here. And if Zoe gets early shove on the Lissandra, I really want to see, like, if it's going to be a lethal tempo Nocturne to be able to nail her down.
I want to see, though, if JDG can prove themselves here in this final. This is where it all comes down to, gentlemen. We've had a rough journey to get here, and I mean that because JDG have run up from 8th seed, and Invictus Gaming are looking for their first domestic title. There's a story on each end, but one thing is clear. We will have a new LPL champion after the 2019 Spring Finals begin. The crowd has erupted. It is insane here in FLICKR.
This is what it's all about. You build yourself up from January onwards to get to this stage. It doesn't matter what cities. Now, Foshan is lovely. I love Foshan.
I do as well.
But they want to find themselves here amongst the crowd, showing themselves that they're the best in the LPL and proving themselves internationally, and this is their one shot.
It's taken so long. Grueling 10 weeks of regular split, 14 games for JD Gaming, 3 series, all upsets to take them here, and they might finally get a chance in their first finals ever, but they have to survive this gank.
To think that IG would go for the level 2 gank in game 1 of the grand finals.
This should be vertical jungling. That's exactly what it should be. What we're seeing here is starting on Red Trinket to see if he's being seen. That's going to be the case, and he's going to be just pathing straight towards like Scuttle and Blue Buff. So Flawless has been in this situation in the past. What I love about when he's been reacting to vertical jungling is when he goes straight in towards an invade for himself, he places a great entry ward to see Ning pathing back upside. So it actually puts a lot of protection there for Zoom and Yagao early on.
You can see that so far the shove is quite even there in the mid lane, and while JDG have sent Flawless to the top side of the map, he may be able to find something, but TheShy is going to spot him out with a well-placed ward.
Definitely knowing the timings over there. Flawless going to try and trade back most of what you can get in the bot side, on the top side, but they do have to be very aware of that bottom side potential dive. Rakan is a lot of crowd control.
But my focus is going to be for Flawless, because this is really dangerous path here. While Ning is forcing vertical jungling, solo lanes right now are shoving in favor of Invictus Gaming. So Flawless has to watch out. Him being seen on that ward means that TheShy and Rookie can actually collapse on them. They're not making that choice, but they have now the information.
Blue Buff's going to go over.
Flawless pretty much just relying on the extra member in the top side, which is pretty much himself to keep him safe, but Ning could very well transition to that side, and as you were talking about, actually, there's still 2 camps untaken.
Looks like Dane just trying to transition for JDG. TheShy was pulling back, but then pushes back in lane. Floors undecisive, but going back into his own jungle.
Has a good idea that it's happening. He's already shoved out the wave fully. Has phase rush too, so the 70% slow resistance is going to be wonderful to have for himself if he ever gets ganked. So already pretty nice.
Pretty good start here for both teams. For JDG, we talked about how the momentum didn't need to be in their side, rather get towards that late game point and find the fights. But for IG now, with Ning back on his jungle side, where do we expect to see him?
Well, honestly, he can just continue to sit on his CS lead. He's already 3 camps ahead, and the reason he's missing 1 CS is because he left one of the Wolves for Nocturne to pick up. So he's actually delaying the clear speed and delaying that paranoia from showing up on Flawless.
Really depends if Ning ends up pathing towards his Krugs, because remember that was the primary difference. Flawless got his Krugs. Ning ended up foregoing that. What I love already, we didn't get to see it because the observer wasn't paying attention to the early trade, is that Rookie is just right now rocking Yagao.
Yeah.
Like the early trade's been pushing him back, so that should be the expectation far later on, like minute 9, but right now it's been happening.
You see that Flawless tries to come into the mid lane as well, right? Yagao, bad into the trade again.
Oh no.
Rookie gets a free heal, and Yagao's at half health once more after using TP to get back.
Yeah, no shove whatsoever for the Lissandra. I just wanted to point out that Ning did something really cool. He stepped into the scuttle and then backed away to then start his recall back to his own base. So trying to fool the top side of JD Gaming into thinking that there was more threat than it was actually there.
You can see already IG's bottom lane getting the shove back up as well. Ning is still there. And JDG just trying to pull back, not lose too much momentum. Already a 10 CS lead down bottom, mid lane as well, and top's quite even.
Yeah, CS advantages coming through from Invictus Gaming is what I expected coming into this.
Yep.
I need to see something from Flawless at 6 immediately. Now, he has a good chance to set up for something bottom lane. We'll have to see what he has vision to work with. That's the hardest thing for a Nocturne, is that you really want to be able to find yourself in these, but people have been so smart in how they've been warding against Nocturne that it's just tough, dog. Look at this. At least he's got that goal, but there's not much else to follow up.
You'll find the normal ward. Control's going to follow with it as well. And you saw, speaking of vision, Ning down the bottom side, skirting around the edge, wasn't spotted out, picked up Scuttle, and now is getting a free dragon, which happens to be an Ocean for IG.
And in terms of the top side, JD Gaming just don't have kill pressure on TheShy until level 6. They really need to wait for the call of the Forge God to even attempt to gank up there. So Flawless actually wasting a lot of time going there, just clearing wards and trying to potentially find TheShy out of position. Yep. But TheShy is actually a very safe player. When he plays aggressive, he plays balls to the wall. But when he wants to play safe, he can do that perfectly as well.
And at this point, he can shove whenever he wants to. The Ocean Dragon being passed off helped Rookie and TheShy in already a beneficial situation. So already slinging shells, Rookie was, and he just gets a shot to be able to do this with the extra regen.
Oh my, was able to move over and then come back, slice Yagao in half. Half health once more, no corrupting potions left in hand. This is starting to become an issue for JDG.
Let me breathe, man. Let me breathe, man.
Still has so much more mana to get those trades off. Blue buff will be becoming available. Flawless just has to shadow him for a bit as well, making sure that Rookie doesn't go for the portal jump kill.
This is where the CS advantage is going to start, because like Teleport helped him out with the last few bad skirmishes, but now he has to be in a position to base. The CS will be handed over to Flawless because at least the experience is going somewhere, right? But now Rookie is in even a better position.
Almost hit level 6 on the Nocturne as well. Ning beats him to the punch. As soon as Flawless gets that ult, as we've talked about many times in the LPL, first 2 ultimates, especially with this composition, are going to be huge.
And I think the ults have to go into one of the solo lanes. They're already spiraling out of control in terms of the CS leads. You can see almost up 20 in that mid lane with Rookie. So it's actually going to be quite easy for Ning to decide his pathing and be around for those counter ganks. It's crystal clear where Paranoia is going to go. It's going to go towards the top side.
On top of that, I mean, this has been what Ning has been doing for about 2 years now. He's recognized that he's had strong lanes, and they picked themselves for a laning phase. We call them a lane kingdom team. You may have snagged it from EU. Thank you for that one. But it's because that he recognizes that they're playing so damn well. He just needs to take down the X factor. Recognize where Flawless is. Recognize where the enemy jungle. You don't have to go for a kill. Put a ping on him. You recognize where he is. You know where he's pathing. Suddenly he can't do anything.
We could do a counter on when Paranoia is finally going to kill someone. So he's finally found that ultimate at around 7:30 after taking his second red buff. So let's see if he can find something in the next 3 minutes. I think it's going to be incredibly hard. You can see the way Rookie is playing right now. He's waiting until Ning can establish him vision, but very smart move by LvMao.
Yeah, he's pathing up top because he needs that extra pressure. With how well Rookie's been playing this one out, as a sizable CS advantage has been starting to shove out the lane, then Scuttle Gold is going to be beneficial. Raptors was what I thought that Ning would be pathing to look to challenge, because he's in a great position to do that. Remember, Rookie's coming into this game with cleanse too, so if there's ever a possibility of a fear or Yagao placing his ultimate on top of him, he has the way to outplay.
Oh, trying to find that now as well. Baolan comes in mid lane, glacial path, interrupted, goes into the ultimate, the Frozen Tomb, will it save him? Is Yagao? Baolan can't. First blood of the Grand Finals IG, and now for JDG fourth, has to disengage. IG come in, save the day, and get the first kill.
They had no idea where Baolan was coming from. Take a look at the control wars that Invictus Gaming had, leading from the bottom side up. So when the engage happened, Baolan had an eye on him.
Defensive flashes blown from a lot of JD Gaming members. Paranoia used as well. So our counter goes on. 7 minutes and 30 seconds onwards. No kills secured. And that was the problem with roaming with LvMao. You can roam? Well, guess what? I can roam too. And the bot side was fully controlled by Baolan. It only took an instant for that Sleepy Trouble to land and to go in on it.
The setup is something that we don't oftentimes get to see, but it is so damn lovely from IG. Because they already had the shove in the bottom side of the map for so long, but it also allowed them to get vision around the dragon, the river so easily. Here's another skirmish just to be able to protect JackeyLove a little bit more, but the benefit of being able to path up towards mid lane and find that engage, you're right. Like JDG had that mindset of, hey, bring LvMao to defend, my man. But IG was like, all right, let's see if we can get the kill and nail down what Rookie's been working for.
LvMao's roam was a purely defensive one. He was leaving lane at level 5 just to make sure that Ning could not sneak wards to shut down Paranoia. However, on the other hand, Baolan's roam was all about aggression and finding kills. He already had the quickness up. He was shoving all this time, level 6, and finds his target in the mid lane.
This is exactly what Tabe didn't want to see, man. He didn't want to see JDG building like, you know, or at least going towards a far more defensive route, putting LvMao on a supportive option like the Braum, a Tom Kench, something that limits him in his engage points. So maybe JDG can really take this back. They're not too far behind. It's just 2K gold at 10 minutes, but this is where we're now looking towards JDG and saying that Yagao has to be the one to start the fights. And during the regular season, during the playoffs as well, Yagao hasn't been strong. He's actually been suffering quite a bit. Now, it started while lacking synergy with him and Flawless or him and Levi. Ever since losing Clit, he hasn't had that standing with his jungler. But now it's been to a point where in the past, going up against Rookie wasn't an issue, but currently he's been falling too far behind.
Other elements coming in as well, but we'll hold that Dorcas zoom. That's found call, the Ford Goddess falls. Paranoia finally successful. That's number 2. It's 1 for 1 there on the scoreboard.
And Ning, even though he was around the era, was too late. TheShy actually overstepped to try and get that ward inside the river brush. He should have waited for his jungle to even have a fighting chance, but with that CC chain, I think he still would have died.
That's what I'm talking about, though. When we're talking about discipline and finding your windows, IG has to respect the fact that JDG are looking for those small ones. Here's a big one.
Started up nice and early. LvMao almost dies underneath the turret, however. JackeyLove's going to stick to him. One more auto. He flashes. He misses, but he finally corrects himself. The feathers fly underneath the turret. They lock down 2 more. JackeyLove over ambitious as TheShy auto to get the kill. Invictus Gaming come up huge. They find Yagao. The trouble bubble, the ignite. One of them lands. Ning comes in. Double kill for TheShy.
What a great counter from Invictus Gaming. You may be coming out with your TPs, but I have you locked in my eyes. Rookie coming through alongside with a teleport from TheShy to follow through.
And the entire team is damn there. It was so fast on the reaction, and JackeyLove actually pulled so much time from the remainder of JD Gaming. It was a great feather storm into the air, wasting the time and waiting for those teleports to actually land, and Ning was on the spot far sooner than the Nocturne was. Just look at the start of the fight right here. Baolan's almost chased out. They don't get an instant kill. JackeyLove actually finds the first one here, and JD Gaming are stuck in a really bad place, stunned underneath their own towers, and all the teleports finish.
And just take a look at JDG's perspective at this. At best, they're getting a 1 for 1. Because Braum has already died to start off before Lissandra even comes in. So this is already a pretty bad setup to begin with because Braum ended up falling through. But then you already see JackeyLove, you know, setting up, buying for time as you had already mentioned. So IG had seen this coming and of course were able to respond.
They just couldn't find the first kill fast enough. They thought it was going to be easy, clean, and quick. They back out with the Lissandra just to put a bit of finishing touches. But both of the bot laners from Invictus Gaming get out. I'm sorry, JackeyLove dies, but Baolan wastes so much damn time off JD JD Gaming. The defensive nature coming through.
Here we go again, Rookie, the paddle star. He's not going to follow through. It starts and ends in the mid lane, maybe now to the top as we find the Paranoia again. Onto two members, a 2v2. Zoom going to try and get into the wall with the Searing Charge. They find it. JDG getting responses on the board, and Baolan's trying to keep it up while Rookie comes to the top lane.
Remember, when we got into that replay, we missed the lane assignments coming through. The fact that JDG decided to say, oh, we're going our bot lane is going right back bot. We're not matching here. In fact, we're getting Zoom up topside, and we're setting up for a fight. That is smart. Yeah. This is what you see from JDG when they're looking for options to engage and cut up tempo. So there we go. They found their opportunity, but it was a risk because this was happening in the bottom lane.
It's a race for the first turret while Zoom's still stuck underneath turret, but they're ignoring that fact completely, looking for more damage, looking for more plates, while the bottom lane, JDG are going to win out.
The top side kill was so crucial for JD Gaming. If you look at the lane assignments, that was actually a 2v3 kill. Ryze was in transit toward the top side. They were thinking they're going to trade top, get Herald, and then trade bottom to JD Gaming, but that didn't happen because of that pickup kill between Flawless and Zoom.
TheShy's going to have to get the leftovers here as well. Turret plating just dropped, so maximum gold over to JDG in the bottom lane, and the Xayah lane that we're fearing from him is now in a very good position.
I still like this positioning from Invictus Gaming. After taking bottom lane turret, they had set themselves up, so you're right, going for the Rift Herald.
Yep.
No Dragon's going to be up for this one, though they want to be in position for the next Dragon. That's going to be valuable. They have members here. JDG will look to challenge this, but they don't have much standing. Here comes the Xayah.
I think we're going full throttle already here in game one, Raz. Ning smites down onto the Rift Herald floor, getting cheeky. The concussive blow starting to land as Ning does eventually secure JDG. Flush on him from Yagao. LvMao wasting time while Zoom picked up the first kill in the choke though. Here comes TheShy, spreading like wildflower. Fallen trying to disrupt the play, but he's dead as well. 2 kills over to Rookie. JDG getting out with a sliver of their life, but Rookie's not going to allow that. 3 kills for the Zoe mid, and JDG get wiped as there's only one left remaining. Rookie comes over the wall.
Got him!
Lands it onto him. Goodbye, sir. I am the true carry. He'll shift his way out with the supercharger. But here comes Rookie again. Quadra kill and an ace in game one.
Red buff was amazing to finish off that one. That was such a smart bait and switch roamer coming in from TheShy. It looked like JD Gaming had that homing missile composition in position. Xayah was in, Paranoia was in, but all of a sudden IG members teleport out and it's going to be 2 objectives on their end.
The only risk throughout all of that for Invictus Gaming was the smite around Rift Herald. So perhaps they would have lost it, but the fight was certainly theirs. They set it up properly so the AD carry was going to be in the position. Rakan was moving in the area as well. Like, this is where if you're JDG, you know you're fully committing because IG have position to take flank. And so the Rakan ultimate was beautiful. It was able to net 3 people, and suddenly it was just so difficult for JDG to find an exit strategy.
Yeah, and TheShy, perfect realm over to take him out of harm's way. Flawless can't find the target around the original position, flies in on someone else who's nearly full health and ends his life on that play. Perfect find on Rookie, by the way, to finish that exit kill. Nothing that Imp can do. Goes into the fight, doesn't find the target, and pays for it.
This is giving me flashbacks to 2018 Rookie on Zoe.
Yeah.
He's absolutely styled, and TheShy's like, come at me. Game 1 IG have brought the tempo play, are now 5,000 gold up, and they are storming the inner turrets of JDG.
This has been a lesson that we thought a lot of teams would learn by now going in towards IG. Like, when they have that series, don't pick yourself so many losing matchups.
Yeah.
Like, top lane, losing matchup. Mid lane, losing matchup. Bottom lane gets shoved in so frequently, losing matchup. JDG came into this series confident that they could come in and try and hold the door, but that wasn't going to be the case.
And I gotta say, this feels like a decision they made after a lot of scrimmage with Invictus Gaming. JD Gaming has been saying that, they've been practicing with these guys a lot. They've had a lot of pressure against them. Maybe they were trying to find other outs rather than the early game. They knew how that conclusion was going to go. They were trying to go for safe lanes, but the mid-game team fights did not happen for them.
Teams that have succeeded over Invictus Gaming in the regular season have matched them at their strength. That said that they would match them in a 2v2, and at times, Ning has showed himself vulnerable to those points when he's respectful to these cases. So we'll have to see. They're going straight for the Shy.
TheShy's going to be blinded up, trying to get over the realm. Will be flushes over, but the call on the fourth one locks him down. So does the Frozen Tomb. Takes a while to die, still running away, but JDG get their pick while IG are looking for the re-engage.
JD Gaming are still on their side of the map. They should be able to walk away from this, even though TheShy took a lot of time.
Oh my lord! Rookie's popping everyone.
Yeah, he's going to have to take 5 on that one. I'm sorry. If you're Imp and you're like, maybe we could push mid lane and hold the door a little bit more, because that was a good call, being able to get the kill on the Xayah. But no, Rookie puts you back in place.
What's really important is even though this is a 5v4, JD Gaming know that they've expended too many tools for the actual catch, and they have to back out, give the objectives once more to Invictus Gaming.
Double Ocean, Mountain Drag, another one to follow suit. IG are taking everything from JDG. And as I said before, Rookie is 4-0-2 with almost a Realnomicon at 20 minutes in the game.
That's true. Like, Rookie, I think, like, if we're just talking about the solo laners here, Rookie's been doing well, TheShy's been setting up for plays. I think coming out of JDG, the only reason they're still in this matchup is because Flawless has found those windows. Being able to pick up TheShy in the top lane when he was clearing out the control ward, and then the bottom side, which we just saw, I think he's been playing wonderfully this game in what is, in my opinion, a pretty bad draft. So from JDG, like, I need to see them. If they can hold the door until he gets Guardian Angel, he has another access to go into the back line, and he could tag team with Zoom and his ulti.
It's to be said that Flawless has actually recovered so well after that first paranoia, which was used defensively. Now 4-1, as you mentioned, looking towards that GA and towards the top side where 4 members of JDG are grouping.
They just have to be the one that starts the fight. If you're JDG, you want to be able to assassinate Rookie pretty early. So I like the, close the lights, ulti from both Zoom and Flawless, dive straight through because Xayah has the ability to just relocate with her ultimate, so you can burst members down. We saw that example in the bottom lane. But if you take down Rookie as well, a bulk of the gold from Invictus Gaming, they can start this fight out well.
Yeah, but what Invictus Gaming are doing right now is that they're actually doing a very good job at keeping the map completely split. The bot side has been shoved in very, very hard by TheShy. So far, what JD Gaming have been doing to keep the map somewhat even is that they're pressuring the top side against Rookie. They can instantly have the Lissandra fly in with Xayah and at least stop it from becoming a 1-3-1 on Invictus Gaming side.
Now take a look at the composition IG has and the position they currently have in red side jungle. You have Rakan, Zoe Sleepy Trouble Bubble, Ryze relocation with his ultimate. There's actually so many options for them to start a fight on JDG's, so it's kind of rough, especially now that IG has a Mountain Dragon, so they can actually just burst through the dragon, the Baron itself. So there's not a lot of good position or good answers here from JD.
And if we see the burst, it's great, but you need to follow through with the kill. Double Ocean makes it so much more annoying for this team.
I honestly feel like this is not a particularly fast Baron that will go down for Invictus Gaming, and it might open a lot of doors for JD Gaming.
Okay, but maybe shut them at the same time as Yagao's forced out. That could be Baron at the cost of 4v5.
Rookie's the one holding the door right now. That's a huge amount of damage on
LvMao at half again. Here comes Call the Forge God onto one. Paranoia in onto the Ryze. TheShy at half health as forced into GA, but might be popped. They flash on in. It's Baolan again. Ning comes in with the flank. That's the killer instinct, but Rookie is so good with geometry. You'd think he's been playing Vel'Koz as the triple goes over to the AD carry. And IG wipe them again.
Team fight after team fight. What could JDG do? IG are just waiting for them, and even though JDG recognize that they have to go in, they lose the fight and they lose Baron.
The early snipes from Rookie made so much difference right there. Already two members being chucked down to half health before they even walk near that Baron pit. You can see as they go in, another paddle star lands, and Baolan just does such a great job in this counter engage. All eyes is on TheShy. It doesn't matter. Gets a 3-man charm on the backside and basically closes this fight.
They opt into diving full throttle knowing that Rookie had flank. Not only that, Ning was like, okay, I just have to disperse them. Flashes in, gets his own ultimate across, so now even JDG don't even have like grouped up for that skirmish that they were looking for. And remember, if you choose TheShy, sure, that happened, but he has a hell of a shield, phase rush to back away, now he has Banshee's Veil, a lot of defensive capabilities to stop you in your initial push.
Yeah, so I feel like JD Gaming looked at that and said, this is our best chance to get a wombo combo team fight, to pick someone off at the start of it. They're setting up that Baron, it's going to be a 5v5. We have to go for this. But Rookie really diffused the situation way too well. Walking into those brushes and taking so much damage was a no-no.
Maybe they're trying to do it again as Call the Forge God might actually find Ning this time. That was not his best ultimate. We've seen so many good ones. Ning's going to drop. JDG with another big pick, but what can they get off this? There's only a mountain spawning.
There's nothing they can do. Technically, they can group around next mountain because they're going to play through it regardless. Now they have Zoe, so even if they have a man down, numbers disadvantage, all you really need to do is have enough vision in the red side, blue side jungle to be able to nail down Sleepy Trouble Bubble. So, I mean, that's one. There we go, right?
Yeah.
So that's an effective strategy. You can't stop it.
And at the moment, you want the bounties off of the mid lane of the 80 carry. Yagao, watch where you step. Rookie is 2 levels ahead of this Lissandra, still threatening in the 4v5. It doesn't matter. They need that Zoe.
Still has stopwatch too, so if there's any engage on towards Rookie that I was expecting, has cleanse, stopwatch, can get out of it jail free. So from JDG's perspective, they had been playing well to try and find something, even especially when they were going around Baron. Remember, they didn't have blue trinkets ready. They were actually, you know, all off. That's the saddest thing. They've been playing around Baron long enough that was just being cleared out. We'll have to see if they can defend this.
Zoom might get chunked out as well. They just charge towards the turret in front of the inhibitor. IG, the glacial pass there from Yagao, but not going to take it. Paddle Star's there as well. Trouble Bubble onto the support. LvMao is safe for now, but you can see the threat of the poke of IG just does not relent.
And this was a 4v5 for the first 15 seconds of that siege. They were fronting on Invictus Gaming's part, but JD Gaming still could not find a position to go in. Now they lose the wave, they lose the tower. They're going to lose this in the middle.
They just don't have eyes, right? Even if they knew, then yeah, you're right. They wouldn't have gone in regardless because there's already so much range to deal with. But like Ning recognized that they had so much control in blue side jungle. Really, they had the entire map. JDG hadn't been able to place down really any effective wards longer than a minute. So they're not working with too much information.
I feel like Zoe's just going to be such a big pick in this series, though.
Hail Mary.
This is the moment for IG. As Yagao's coming in, the glacial path not going to be taken.
And Ning actually just goes straight in.
Is he going to find Yagao? There's a bit of protection, but the Frozen Tomb as they get the mid lane.
Okay.
Here comes the Realm on top of Yagao, but he's dead. Tries to juke him out. Does for long enough. It's a well played over to Yagao. Oh my! Definitely a well played Raz.
Yeah, it was, but it's not something that will show up in the highlight reels. You usually still want to be able to win the game on top of that. So this is a dream that JDG is having. It's more of a nightmare.
I think it just goes to show you how far ahead Invictus Gaming are. JD Gaming are running a catch composition. They have a lot of potential to CC knock and just kill someone off the back. But IG, they know they're really strong at this point. They're willing to show 4v5, and they're just taking everything on the map.
Early in the regular season, what we saw from Invictus Gaming was very poor vision control, especially when it came down to wards cleared. A lot of the times they would get picked when they have an advantage, simply because they didn't get the work done with Baolan and Ning grouping up and looking to invade. That's not been the case in playoffs. Even if it was just off of one best of 5 versus TOP, what we saw was excellent control. There were times where 369 or Moyu were looking for flanks off of the cannon, but they were never given that option because there was great wards to catch that out, especially if you're going up against JDG, that have found themselves in this position with constant flanks off the GP, the Kale coming from Zoom. Yeah. This time Yagao's been trying to do the same. It would work if it was going up against WE or RNG, I'll be honest. It's not working here today.
It's really hard as well, considering that Zoom in the past has been on more of these carries. We love his Ornn here in the LPL, but this time around there is no backup. Yagao, we talked about how his regular split had been. Now we're asking a miracle out of him in this first game.
Yeah, I mean, right, what can he do, right? He's not only far behind in the laning phase, incredibly far behind in being able to find those flanks. Going back to my point with Ning. Ning right now has the highest control wards placed a minute amongst all junglers. That's insane to be able to say, and it's Baolan following up on that one amongst support. So they've been completely focused. Coach Kim has got them on that leash.
Makes it hard as JDG look for their final fight. Redemption comes on down, but Ning is still alive. Pops into a circle. Yagao golden, but Rookie's already taken down one. Yagao will follow as well. The solo lanes pick up kills in TheShy. It's not done. They get rid of turret aggro. The feathers fly. Zoom goes golden, but it can't survive. Nor can Force, nor can Zoom. Invictus Gaming put on a clinic here in game 1.
Okay, we just came out of an amazing grand opening ceremony. I don't want a G2 versus Origin situation. JDG just got rocked in game 1. They have to regroup, come strong.
This is the moment that IG stamp their foot down though, Raz and Clement. This is the moment that you say in game 1, they're one step closer to their domestic title, one step closer to proving their world dominance.
It's been so long in the making. IG have always been known as the bad boys of the LPL, but they were not known as winners. Have not secured a domestic title in their run so far. This year, they might be looking to change that.
2018 was when that tone started to change, and I love the fact that now it's just IG coming through, but I'm going to look to criticize JD just a little bit. I'm going like, what the hell is happening? Like for JDG, like just getting right into it, what was that draft? I was so confident that JDG would be coming in, trying to play and pick towards Zoom. Say that Zoom's going to be getting our bottom dollar. And on top of that have Flawless, who path towards top lane, get to control wars up top. They knew that it was going to be Ryze no matter what, right? Ryze either top lane or mid lane, but they knew that that was the threat of the worst case scenario. Ryze was going to be based in the top lane. What I wanted to see was not the Ornn. If you're going to be going towards Yorick, Aurelia, something that's far more gankable, even if it's in a pretty bad lane matchup, that's something that Flawless has done constantly. But going into this game, we saw a tank, we saw him playing away from the lane. Now, I still love the windows that we were going in there, so I still think based off of what we saw, the execution from Flawless and Zoom were excellent. But it's the strategy that was the problem, where they were getting nailed in the laning phase, and Yagao was getting completely demolished from Rookie.
It was really frustrating because when you play on the red side, you look to have lane counters. You look to bully out at least one side of the map, but they didn't do it with either side. I think that's the biggest problem. If you play against IG, the way you step up to them early is at least you explode their bottom lane. You have to do that. If you can't contest the top side, at least you try to find something on the bot side. Braum first pick doesn't really do you that. And then I think they swiveled around to go for a mid-game team fight strategy, and once that Herald fight went down, chances were very, very slim for them.
Well, we'll talk about what we saw from the options in first pick. Just based off first pick alone, you go up against first pick Ryze, everyone knew that was going to be the case, right? If you're not going to be banning Ryze, Ryze is going to be first pick from Invictus Gaming. And so I think it's fine to be going towards Tom, Kenj, Xayah. I'm just saying, even though it was a Braum Xayah, play defensively, I'm okay with that. But you have to be picking for lanes where you know you're going to at least have one lane that you can play through. Where Zoom, that was not going to be the case. And for mid lane, that was a blind pick Lissandra really early on, or at least he knew that the worst case scenario is going to be going up against a Ryze. Best case scenario, you know that he's going to be going up against Zoe, that Rookie has in his back pocket. So I'm not going to come into this and say that JDG were unprepared. I think they knew very well what they were going into. I think they were just overconfident that they can get past the laning phase.
Ooh, is it overconfident,
Yes.
or were they willing, or they're not willing to contest the laning phase? Because I actually read it in a different direction. I'm saying that we played this a couple times. We know that the laning phase doesn't go so hot when we try to push it that far. How about we put more of our chances into mid-game team fighting, where we can suddenly punish them? Remember, Invictus Gaming actually have one of the worst mid-game team fight win rates, only 36%. They're not the best at picking their fights. However, this game, I felt like they showed some very good selection.
This is my issue when it comes to that stat in particular. It's Invictus Gaming that always trips the norm. Because when they have those team fights, they're the ones with the lead, and oftentimes they're saying, yeah, we'll lose, Ning. We'll lose him. He throws himself out there, but he was buying time for us to get mid lane turret, inner tower, or we can come in strong later on. It's always the enemy team picking up a kill, and they're happy about that. That's extra gold. But IG also gets the map as well, and that's ultimately their goal. This game, they got the map. The map was completely theirs. They play around Baron buff. What can you do when you're going up against Rakan and Zoe? Absolutely nothing. So I am concerned for JDG if they're willing to risk so much in the early game.
But I do like the variety of draft. I think it's exciting to see in game number 1. See if they expand on that after we talk so heavily about it. Game number 2 coming up right after this at the Grand Finals here in FLICKR.
Well, hello there, this is Kai from G2, and here's my thoughts on the JDG vs IG final. So, going into the final, IG is looking really strong. They have been for a while, right? They're the world champions, and as someone who has experienced that power up close, they're definitely not someone you should underestimate. However, I do believe in JDG winning the series, just because I have this faith that we will face them in MSI. So therefore, I'm going to go with JDG winning the final and going to MSI. So that's basically my thoughts.